So we all have those voices of self-doubt in our head, the naysayers that keep us from going after our dreams or from trying something new. And sometimes it's the way we perceive society's signals that maybe we're not the right fit or we don't have the right look to do something. Well, I got the chance to sit down with one person who has smashed those stereotypes, and her success has given her worldwide fame. And now she's looking to give back and show others how to do the same. She says it's all about the right mindset. So come with me now as we explore the monster of self-doubt and limitations by hearing from somebody who is lighting the way for others.
I'm Alia Atkinson, 5-time Olympic world record holder from Jamaica. I swam for over 20 plus years internationally. I swam for Texas A&M University, graduated in psychology and English. And as I'm moving out of the sport into retirement, I'm trying on doing more stuff for the community. So not just Jamaican community, but Caribbean as well, for minorities in the sport. Trying to have a lot more of water awareness and education for the public as well. But seeing what I can do, what is my little piece that I can do in this entire world? What is my storyline? Where do I go from here to be better than how I was before? And yeah, trying to figure out who am I outside of the pool? Who am I beyond the athlete? And I think that's the hardest part, is trying to redefine yourself all over.
So as the first woman in color to win a swimming world championship and then set not one, not two, but 4 world records, Alia is showing that with the right mindset, you can accomplish anything. And now she wants to share that idea with others.
So Waterbound started off as a way to light the path for other people of color. So when I was swimming, I was lucky enough to come from Jamaica, where we had a lot of people of color in the pool. When I migrated to the US, I was surprised about the lack of people of color in the pools. I went to Florida, so it was pretty diverse in the Hispanic areas and the Caucasians, but not so much in the Black popularity within the sport. So it took me a little while to find my place and my belonging in the sport, not having people that represented me in the sport. But as I continued and I became more internationally famous, I started to see 1 or 2 along the side with me. Some from the US, but that was about it. Some from the Caribbean here and there. But I stayed in the sport for so long that I got to see the wave that it created from that little bit of representation. So in the latter parts of my career, we started to see a lot of the African nations produce great swimmers, a lot of the Caribbeans producing teams, not just individuals. And because of that, I wanted to find a place where you could light their experiences. To know that in Sierra Leone, we have people who are jumping in the rivers to learn how to swim because there isn't a pool accessible for them. In Burkina Faso, we had a girl that it was too much gangs and too much stuff going on at night, so she couldn't go to morning practice or night practice. So she swam during her lunch break in the middle of school. So hearing these stories and then hearing them saying, I'm not a champion because I don't look like Michael Phelps or Caleb. To have their accolades diminished because it's not what we think an accolade should be, I think was really depressing to hear. So I decided to have Waterbound to create those stories, a place for them, a platform for them to hear their stories, and for them to see that they are a champion in their own right, and their stories and their trials can be something for somebody else when they think they can't do it, and if they can reach out from that.
Waterbound is the platform that Alia is building, but she's gone further than that. She's written a book called Day One, Not One Day. And it's a workbook and actual guide for athletes and for anybody who sets limits on themselves. She talks you through finding your purpose, defining your success, and then how to set goals to achieve it.
So goal setting is huge. My coach actually taught me throughout my teenage years the proper goal setting because he did it. So I just followed what he did. So he had a 4-year cycle. So let's say an Olympic cycle. and then he broke it down to a 1 year, then he broke it down to half a year, and then each quarter, and then each month, and then each week. He was very meticulous. But what that taught me was that yes, it's great to have big goals. It's great to want to dream and believe and know where you want to go. However, if you look at the long run, it gets very overwhelming very quickly. And sometimes we lose the energy along the way. So what we do is start small and then have those things. And then when we finish that weekly goal, we check it off, we build those little achievements, and those little achievements eventually makes you feel like you're on your way to your path. Whether it takes longer than that 4 years or not, but you feel like you're moving in the path that you want to go. So that goal assessment and the goal planning is really great because especially in the book as well, it breaks it down into your start goal and your end goal. And it shows, yes, we want to take steps, not leaps. We want to make sure that if we're not reaching where we need to reach at a certain time, we need to reassess that goal. Is it a step? Is it a leap? What do we need to do to make sure we get that? So we're still on track to where we need to be. But I think swimming is great because it can show you that very easily. Whether it's you need to change your start or your finish, whether it's a pace that you need to work on, you know exactly where you are. If you can hold a certain pace, you know what you're going to do in a competition if you give it your best. So it's easier to visually know what you have to change. A lot of the time, a lot of the sports are not like that. A lot of non-activities are like that. How do I lose weight? How do I drop this 10 pounds? I'm eating right, I'm doing physical activity, what do I have to do? And that takes a little bit more work with professionals and certified trainers to figure out what's going on and where we need to go from there. What is the nutrition? What is the physical activity? What is your body composition and how can we get there? And it takes more work. But if you have that goal and you have the determination to reach it, then you'll be able to go through any obstacle that may deter you on the way.
With so much success in the water, I asked Alia if she could recall a time when she had a major setback and how it affected her. She surprised me when she shared that one of her biggest failures happened right before one of her biggest successes. In fact, they were just days apart.
My biggest failure, and I would have to say it's not that big of a failure, but it was because all the expectation and everything leading up to it was great. So when all the training towards something is great, you have that expectation naturally. Like, okay, I'm going to do great. I'm not going to say I'm going to win. I'm not going to do this. But you have that feeling like you're on top of the world. And to feel like that and then completely fall, it is devastating. Not only the external stimuluses around you in the news and the media and everybody else around you, but internally, like the thoughts that you say to yourself during those times can be devastating. So I think it was Commonwealth. I was doing really well. Everything was playing a part of what would be my first international medal. And just the different things from the day before, everything just hit, kind of like the butterfly effect. And going into the finals, I still can't explain it to this day, but something happened. And it wasn't even that bad. I got second. It wasn't even that bad, but it was the expectation of what I thought was going to happen and it didn't. So it made every other expectation, I had to take a rethink on that and be like, okay, this isn't gonna work. What am I still doing in the sport? Like, all the fears, the insecurities, everything came back. And it really took a lot of my family support and my team support to say, all right, you can stop whenever you want. Like, you're not swimming for us. You're swimming for yourself. So the question is, what are some of the goals that you still have? Because what you found before does not define who you are. The things that happened before does not define you or your swimming or who you are or who you will be in the future. So what are your goals? Do you still want to go after them? Because you have everything in your power to do so. If you just push this one aside and keep on going. So I switched my mindset. I started to put myself in front. I said, no matter what happens, I was going to mess up this race somehow. I don't care if I go first or second, I'm going to mess up somebody else in this race. And so that was my mindset. I went out. I did the best that I could. But when the time came, I made sure I was in a position to take charge. And that's what happened in the 100. And so it was interesting what the difference was between the 50 and the 100. Who knows? But the mindset was definitely different for the 100 than it was for the 50.
So what Alia didn't mention was that 100 breaststroke, well, that was her very first of 4 world records that she set over her swimming career. It really is all about the mindset. You know, I had the chance to sit with Alia right after the news made the announcement of Anthony Nesty being named the men's Olympic swim coach. Why is this a big deal? Well, he's the first person of color to take the lead. So I asked Alia to reflect on maybe what that means about representation.
So the funny thing is that representation means many things. It could be somebody who looks like you. It could be somebody from the same country. It could be somebody from the same ethnicity, the same economic status. It could be many things. It's what you want it to be. So I think for Anthony, what was great is that yes, he represented the Black nation, whether it was from Suriname, the entire Caribbean, the African nations, anybody who wanted to claim him, claimed them. But it was also somebody from a small island coming to the US and being a head coach for one of the top universities in the country, and then being a head coach for one of the top nations in the swimming realm. He put a face onto somebody from a small country, somebody from, let's say, the underdog can become the champion, can become the forerunner, can do it if you put in the time and the work and the effort and you build from that. Throughout my career, the representation has always been a person of color, and that's easy for the media and other people to just jump on. But as I got older, it turned into people of minority, people from South Africa that does not look like me, but felt that representation, felt that similarity with me, coming from a small country, coming from a country that is not known for swimming and being on top of the world. From a lot of Pacific Islanders that just wanted to see somebody that doesn't look like everybody else. It's weird because you think you want somebody to look like you, but you just want somebody that doesn't look like everybody else. I am not white and tall and blonde. I'm short and have thighs and look completely different than everybody else. And that's all they needed to see. She's different. I'm different. I can do it as well.
She's different. I'm different. I can do it as well. I wonder if Alia realizes just how strong a statement that is and how much that resonates with all sorts of people. I'd like to thank Alia for sharing her journey with us and all the great lessons about mindset and setting goals and how important it is to believe in yourself, no matter what you look like, no matter your shape or size, and whether you have big thighs or not. So, I had to do the very things that she's talking about when I started my art career at age 53. I was a digital marketer, I had been a teacher, I was not an artist, and really society had me doubting myself, like, could I say, hey guys, I'm an artist? It took a lot of courage for me and a change in my mindset to say, yeah, I can. And now I'm having my second art exhibition coming up at Mills Gallery on October 20th. I hope you'll join us because I've teamed with Second Harvest Food Bank. They are so amazing, guys. 300,000 meals delivered daily to our neighbors who might be currently experiencing hunger. They are working in our neighborhoods to change the mindset, not only of people like me who might be able to help our neighbors out, but also the recipients themselves. So it's a really worthy cause. I hope you'll join us October 20th to start making a difference.